He turns, he's so serious. He said, Buck, we got 81 more games. Quit joking me.
And Magic Johnson is out there celebrating like they just won the NCAA championship.
There was one point I think that they really realized about me was that I was going to be doing that for 81 more games.
Magic is straight down the middle. Still going, still going. Oh! Highlights, Bill!
During the entire 1979-80 season, Magic infused a stoic Laker team with his enthusiasm.
Look at Magic. He won't let him up.
But ironically, Magic's charisma overshadowed his play.
People thought I was this flash, I was, a lot of flair. So people didn't think I could shoot from the outside. People didn't think I could really do a lot of things.
The Lakers were still unquestionably Kareem's team. He was the NBA's most unstoppable offensive force and won his unprecedented 6th MVP award, carrying Magic and the Lakers into the NBA Finals.
You seem like you're a little bit out of breath.
I am. I'm so happy, and later that I get a chance to play for the championship. It's beautiful.
The other superstar in the finals wasn't Magic, but the Philadelphia 76ers' Julius Erving. The championship series was billed as a battle of NBA titans. Kareem versus Dr. J.
Man, Dr. J was my hero. He was a guy who you looked up to, so to play against your hero was definitely a dream come true.
The Lakers provided no surprises in their strategy. Get the ball to Kareem and watch him skyhook the Sixers into submission.
It got so bad, man, I went home, I was laying in bed, I was dreaming, oh no, not another hook shot, no, not another one.
But every hook that landed brought a counterpunch from the doctor.
Sixers, and they get inside. Unbelievable. Julius Erving hit it raining underneath, and he still got the field goal.
In the pivotal 5th game, with the teams tied at 2 games apiece, the series took an unexpected turn.
Kareem turns underneath, puts it up and scores on a finger roll. 5, but Kareem's hurt. Kareem turned an ankle. Kareem is hurt. I don't think Kareem is going to be able to go anymore right now.
But Kareem bravely played on and kept the Lakers in the game.
He will try to play despite a painful sprained ankle.
In the game's final critical seconds, the Lakers looked to their captain one more time.
Lob to Kareem in behind. Kareem took the blow and made the basket and drew the foul.
Kareem's heroics brought the Lakers to within 1 game of the championship, but it had come at a heavy price. Kareem's injury was too severe for him to play when the series returned to Philadelphia for Game 6.
We got the news that Kareem was not going to be able to play Game 6. And so, nobody said too much at that particular time. I think we were all like in shock and still like, man, can't believe that he's actually not going to play. So we get on a plane to go to Philly. We all got our favorite seats. And Kareem's seat was vacant. So I said, never fear, guys. Magic is here. And he said, and they looked at me like I was silly or something. No, some young kid, like, you were right, okay.
And so Magic on the airplane asked the coach, could I please start at center? And the coach kind of laughed at him, and I said to the coach, he's serious.
I called my dad, and I said, Daddy, I'm gonna go back to my high school days. And he said, what are you talking about? I'm gonna go back to being a scorer. I'm gonna score tomorrow. I'm gonna score a lot tomorrow.
You are looking live at the sold-out crowd at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. It is Game 6, the 76ers and the Lakers.
The one thing you were concerned about was, Abdul-Jabbar's dominance against that team. He had been the factor in that series, period. And going back to Philadelphia, I think most people envisioned that the Sixers were going to be able to run roughshod over this team without Abdul-Jabbar.
A young man by the name of Magic Johnson is going to start at center.
When Magic jumped in the center with Caldwell Jones, I actually almost started laughing because I kept wondering what is going through Philly's mind.
From the opening tip, Magic displayed a kind of individual versatility the Sixers couldn't possibly have prepared for.
Magic, one has the look. So beautiful pass by the rookie. Magic down the middle. Magic pumps for the layup and drew the foul.
Magic's hot and he knows it. Oh, what a pass to Cooper who scored!
Again, Dr. J valiantly kept the Sixers in the game. But they had little hope if they couldn't stop Magic. They never could.
Magic Johnson is everywhere.
We played everybody conceivable against him defensively. And here's a guy that, what was he, 20 years old?
Here comes the 20-year-old rookie down the middle. Dawkins went to him and scored and sent him to the line.
After this performance, Magic would never again be thought of as just a good player with a great smile.
Irvin came up with one of those games that started to separate him in the eyes of people from the rest of the basketball players. And it was really the kind of the coming out party for Irvin Johnson.
The rookie had become a master, and he had the championship to prove it.
There it is. It's over, and the most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I just wish he stayed in school one more year. You know, we would have gotten another ring.
Man, 42 points as a rookie in the biggest game, that's all right.
You know, that was still today my greatest game probably in the NBA.
While Magic was the rookie with the ring, the NBA's Rookie of the Year in 1980 was Larry Bird, who brought more than the winning tradition back to the Boston Celtics. He brought back the wonder of basketball.
Henderson broke it up. There's Bird again. Larry Bird with a steal. Henderson. Bird.
McHale to Bird. Spins. Oh, what a shot.
What a great shot!
A cut to Bird. Swings through. Little reverse. Layup is good. How did he make it?
It was slow, but he leads a fast break. Couldn't jump. He'll come up with big-time rebounds.
Larry Bird follows his own shot.
Bird was a basketball magician, and with the ball in his hands, he could make the impossible happen.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's making passes or doing things with the ball. You say, well, how did he do that?
Quickly ahead to Bird. Behind the back move. Dumps it to Parrish. What a pass by Larry Bird.
The rebound to Bird. Look at that pass. Oh, what a show. Oh, show. Forget him.
This was the smartest guy in the world of basketball.
Bird with the pass through the legs of Sigma.
When the game was on the line, Bird was at his show-stopping best.
Fires another three-pointer.
You know, if the game is close and they got the ball, or you don't have no cushion in terms of a lead, Larry Bird can win the game.
Bird pops out, gets it on the sideline, goes baseline, throws it up, and Larry Bird did it again! He did it again!
I remember in particular one where I had to make a pass in from Phoenix.
Max looking, loops it to Bird, a runner. It's good! It's good! And the Celtics win it!
As soon as Larry let it go, he virtually turns to the bench and he's looking over like, you should have had more than one guy on me.
Is he worth the price of admission or what? He is too much. Absolutely too much.
As much as his basketball skills, the intangible qualities of his leadership made Bird the ultimate teammate.
Essence of Larry Bird, you know, in probably one word, is toughness, mental and physical.
They could sense his leadership, his demeanor, his hustle. He'd dive on the floor. He'd do whatever it takes.
Bird going to the floor for it. This game is Larry Bird.
On the court, Bird let his passion for victory speak for itself.
Now, I like the fact that he led by example instead of all the yelling and screaming that some leaders have a tendency to do.
In 1984, 3 years after winning his first championship in Boston, Bird led the Celtics back into the NBA Finals. This time, an old nemesis was waiting for him.
They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
Yeah, it was the first time me and Magic met in the finals. It was an opportunity for me at that time to get some revenge.
In the 1979 NCAA championship game, Bird's dreams of an undefeated season at Indiana State were denied by Magic Johnson and Michigan State. Together, they would take the NBA by storm, and 5 years later, they finally had their championship rematch.
Larry Bird, for his credibility and for his highlight and for him to be who he was, he had to beat Magic Johnson during that particular series.
At the outset, Bird's road to revenge hit a speed bump called Showtime.
Missing, rebounding is Magic, Cooper, and the fast break going to town.
The Lakers' fast-breaking Showtime offense was in high gear, and Los Angeles took the home court advantage for the series.
They are running the Celtics off the Boston Garden court.
Back at the Forum, the Lakers humiliated Boston, taking a 2-1 advantage. It looked like Magic would again be celebrating at Larry's expense.
This has to be one of the most decisive routes in championship game history.
And with his basketball dreams turning into a nightmare, the normally private Bird made his feelings shockingly public.
Well, we just play like a bunch of women at night. You know, we got some great players on this team, but we don't have the players with the heart sometimes that we need. And today, when you see Magic slapping high fives and guys going behind their back and shooting layups on us all day long, it seems that something somebody would try to put a stop to it. And until we get our hearts where they belong, we're in trouble.
Larry was frustrated. He was disappointed, as we all were, that we got blown out by 33 points on national TV. And it was like the most incredible thing, because we saw that article and it was like we couldn't wait to get back.
Magic and the Lakers looked invincible, but Bird's own greatest magic act had always been mind control, the ability to get inside his teammates' heads to make them believe in themselves. This time, he just made them angry.
Here's Kareem, outlet to Worthy, Rambit. Benches have emptied, and you knew this was going to happen. You could see it coming.
They wasn't ready for the physical play, and it shocked them. So it just escalated from there, and they weren't ready for that.
Bird had sounded the call to battle, and he wasn't afraid to lead the charge.
Swings the elbow, and now is yelling at Larry Bird. Jaw to jaw.
It drew the team together, and I think that they all responded and said, yeah, hey, let's make sure that we aren't playing like sissies. Maybe we were, but let's make sure we're not going to continue to play like that.
With Bird's challenge ringing in their ears, the Celtics played with ferocious intensity.
Harris fighting again, and the basket counts and a foul.
In the first 3 games, the Lakers had scored at will. Now, they would pay for every point. Bird attacked the Lakers relentlessly. But Magic matched Larry's intensity. And the Lakers were determined to hold their ground. The decade's 2 defining players refused to back down. After 48 grueling minutes, this epic struggle had come down to a draw.
Great players like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson love to be in this situation.
Magic and Bird continued their duel in overtime. And when the final seconds came, Larry would know just where the ball should be.
What can you say?
I was the leader of the Boston Celtics, and I knew that. My teammates knew that. So they was looking for direction, and that's what I tried to give them.
The game was tied, and as fate would have it, Bird would get the ball, guarded by Magic, as the clock ticked away.
Bird rotates in. Bird pops out, avoids a steal, gets it over to DJ. Bird goes right into the pivot. Now DJ holds the ball. Back in the Bird. The ball away is gone. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! What a play!
Boston Celtics have evened this NBA World Championship Series at 2 games apiece. And those who are writing the obituary for the team that have won a record 14 NBA titles can just pause.
We're coming back. That's right. We're coming back. We'll be back.
Game 4 turned the series in Boston's favor. Bird had restored their pride. Then he would seal their victory.
Here's Magic off the mark. Lakers had several chances, and here's Larry Bird chucking down the court.
The moment had called for greatness, and Larry Bird had answered the call.
No one believed that we could beat the Lakers that year. Absolutely no one believed it. But the fact of the matter is, we believed in ourselves, and that was a lot because of the leadership Larry had.
The Boston Celtics are the NBA World Champions in a grueling 7-game series with the Los Angeles Lakers.
I told Larry Bird, the way you played in that series, the way you conducted yourself and the way you played made me proud to be a Celtic.
He was often the smallest man on the court, but during the 1980s, Isiah Thomas dreamed of walking tall among the reigning giants of the game, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Well, I think he already thought he was like them. I don't think there's any question he thought he was, and he was, a great player. He'd see Magic, he'd see Bird collecting trophies, and he wanted to do that. There was this burning desire to want to achieve that.
The bigger the situation, the greater he became.
Isiah turns, guns, it goes!
He wanted to be the guy with the ball to win or lose in almost every single game.
Here's Isiah. Let's see what we got. All the way up. Go!
But as the seasons passed without a title, a sinking feeling grew around the Pistons. Then in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals in Boston, holding the ball and a 1-point lead, Isiah hit bottom.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird.
Oh my! What a mistake by Detroit.
The locker room was very quiet. And we were a tight team, but it seemed like Isiah was sitting by himself. And he knew he messed up. And he knew he was going to have to live with it for the rest of his life. He'd probably still having nightmares about it.
Isiah, if you could, just one more time, the final 5 seconds. You see Bird coming in all right.
When you're the leader, everybody's giving you their trust and their confidence, and they believe in you, and you let them down, and your confidence and your trust is shaken. Theirs is shattered.
For the next year, he set about restoring his team's hope, rebuilding their confidence in a conference finals rematch.
With 7 seconds left.
Isiah had finally beaten Bird and made the NBA Finals. There, he would meet his last remaining nemesis, Magic Johnson. Behind Isiah, Detroit would take a 3-2 series lead. Isiah's self-confidence and the team's belief in him were overflowing.
Over to Isiah, 3-point country. He tries for 3. He got it.
For Game 6, the finals returned to Los Angeles. The Pistons were 1 win away, but the Lakers were still the champions. And they had one more lesson in championship basketball for Detroit.
We're now Magic at the 3-point line underneath the Scott. Scott scores.
Come on, team out, not quite ready. Team out, not quite ready. All right, let's get our mindset back now. Get our mindset back. Come on, man. All business here. Somebody did it. Come on.
As the third quarter began, the Pistons looked to Isiah, and Isiah was looking for final redemption.
Rebound is up, taken by Isiah, and he scores. Great play by the little guard.
Thomas the rebound. He's got Dantley and Dumars. Goes to Dumars, who lays it in, and quickly the Pistons have come the Laker lead to 4.
Isiah Thomas is hurt down on the court underneath the basket. I couldn't tell what happened.
When I sprained my ankle, I was so angry because all the hard work that I put in, the dedication, and